We're Tamara and Danny, and we just spent the last year and a half renovating a 2011 Mercedes Sprinter. We gutted the entire vehicle. We removed the rust and built everything from scratch. The electrical was easily the most challenging. The cabinetry was also a learning curve. But now, we are tackling the countertop.
Right now, Danny is working on securing our food pantry to the desk.
So what I did, it's currently just on its side because I'm going to glue it down. But what I did is I just screwed some holes in the bottom and then used this to kind of make a countersink hole for them. I think it'll work pretty good, but I think I just want to have glue. It's funny, this IKEA plastic thing for the screws is useless. I can confirm. They have these things on the back that are like little, like if you
yeah, the ones that screw
these
on.
are supposed to, you're supposed to, on the other end over here, we pre-drill them and then you're supposed to screw them in.
Right.
They're useless. I don't know if they came with hardware. If they did, maybe we can try the hardware it came with, but the holes are too big. And I was wondering about that because it said to use 5/16, and that's huge. And like these just go right through. So anyways, I have to change it a little bit. Regardless, I'm gonna leave a 1/2 inch gap from the end, so we can either choose to use plywood or we can use MDF. But 1/2 inch, we'd have to buy 1/2 inch MDF. But whatever we choose to use, and then it'll basically just cover the back end, but also we'll be able to mount it directly to the side, this side of this. And that's what I'm gonna leave it just on the side here. But I'm gonna secure it so at least when we drive, it shouldn't move. So I thought that we didn't have any glue, and then I found a bottle. So I thought we were gonna have to make a run, but luckily we don't. So I fitted it, just measured it, now to glue it. And so one side is shorter than the other. That's why they're probably fitting with a bit of a gap in the center. And I know when you do a glue up, you shouldn't have any gaps, but our table saw is not very good. It's very wobbly. One of the legs on it, it's a long story, but one of the legs on it isn't fully mounted, so it kind of wobbles, which I know is a little hairy, but we were able to strip the wood. What we did is each of these lengths had been just stripped so that they don't have the round edge, except this edge. This is the last one. It does have a little bit of that rounded edge that the wood normally comes with, just to help us out. And it came down to about 20 inches and 7/8. We want it at 21 inches, so that's fine. It'll work out for what we need to do. This is just a dry fit, and I'm glad I did that and measured, because I see now that it in fact one side is a little bit like it kind of bends inwards a little bit, and it's slightly smaller. So we wanted, in fact, like I said, the 20 inches and 7/8 so that it can go on top of here. Tamara is currently working on doing the backsplash. She got these awesome stick-on tiles, and that's what we're working on for a backsplash. She went inside to go do some measuring. I just came in here to grab my tape measure, but it's coming together. Glue on these and hopefully do a decent glue up. It's my first time doing this. I would really like if I had one more, like right about here, so I think I'll just do he'll just move this one a little bit more to the center. And this is gonna be, I guess, my end piece, because that end, I don't like what it measures out to, and we're not using the whole thing. What I'll do is I'm just going to use my finger once I just spread it. I find that honestly it just works the best. I've used other things to spread it, but I find that the finger gets it done. That was my biggest fear. Hopefully that works. And I'm saying hopefully, it's bad, I know. But that glue bottle sucks. Don't ever buy that kind. It just, if you're doing this kind of stuff, if you're doing small things, it works, but when you're doing big stuff, it's terrible. You gotta get a proper one.
So now that Danny put the pipe clamps on the pieces of wood just to really bond it together after he applied the glue, I'm going to sand it down, and we had to put wood filler in between the cracks just because our saw table is a little sketch. It's actually my brother-in-law's saw table. It is sketch and it didn't cut quite straight. We tried our best, but yeah, it left little gaps in between the wood. So wood filler has been our friend, and it's all good now. So we're gonna get it prepped and ready for staining. So we actually had to fill it with wood filler in between the cracks that didn't quite get glued together, so just to fill in those gaps. So now just sanding, you can see like the color of the wood filler there, so yeah, I'm just sanding that down so it's more flush with the wood, and when I stain it, it won't have like globs of wood filler everywhere and glue. So we use 60 grit to start, because this is super rough, and then I moved on to a 100 grit, and then what I'm using as a final is the 220. So this is much softer, smoother. Well, this is our third stain coat. I think we're done staining the countertops. I just had to fix some drips that were on the side, so I just decided to do another sweep just to make the color consistent. I don't know why, but we do have a bit of green going on in the middle. Probably doesn't really pick up, but it could just be because there was moisture in the batch that we got from Home Depot. I don't know. Tried to cover it up with more stain, but it's just gonna be, it's my first time staining, so it's not the best job in the world. So we're gonna cut out the countertop, and we have a spot where we're gonna just remove this and have an insert. So we have made a little pull where we're gonna like be able to lift it out from. We discovered that the jigsaw was cutting not straight, so it nicks some of the sides off, but luckily we were able to salvage it, and we just filled it in with wood filler. Same with the cutout here, just all wood filler up here, and then we're gonna resand everything and then restain it, and hopefully it'll look a lot better. COVID's in that bedroom up there.
Got this side. And so you want your side to be right up against the white extension.
Okay.
And if there's a bit of a gap, it's fine. That's good. I'll just make it so it's a little bit easy to open there. Okay. Done. Now, just get a couple screws to hold it in there. One, and then two. I mean, it really doesn't need a lot, I don't think. Glue will do more than enough. It's just to kind of hold it while it dries. And yes, that is our countertop.
Wearing my coat.
I'm fashionable. Fix this in a moment here. Not the best caulking job I've ever done.
Don't admit that on camera.
Why? I'm gonna admit that on camera because if people are gonna see it, it looks bad.
No, because you'll rub it in. And apparently this stuff dries clear in a few days.
Exactly. We'll rub it in and we'll make it look better. I promise. When you wipe your finger. It's gonna be awkward at the end here because it's a big gap, and then also gonna work.
It's a nice color.
Just doing a couple.
The stain looks really good with everything. With the ceiling. And then we have our insert here. Pop the insert in. Wow. And our fold-up table that Danny installed.